half as well. And yeah, off we go. Amazing. Okay, I'll let everyone in. My background's a bit messy. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. How are we?
All good.
You've got a good setup there, Anna. Look at you with your second screen, like, and your headset.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much.
I'm in my office.
It's a
This
good
is my workspace.
Good setup, isn't it? Hi, Emma. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You?
Good. Yeah, good. Thank you. Hi, Christy, Sophie, Sarah. How are we doing?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Good. Lovely to see you. So it's been so long, Sarah, hasn't it?
It's been a long time.
I know, it's so good to have you here, honestly. It's awesome to see all your faces. Yeah, sorry about Facebook basically freaking us all out. It's the time zones on Facebook are so rogue, honestly. Like every time it happens, like it just confuses everyone. So yeah, sorry about that. But we're all here at the right time, which is a good start. So yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for coming, everyone, and we're really excited about this because me and Kate haven't actually ran a workshop together before, and it's our first one to collab officially. So yeah, you guys know, most of you know me and the work I do, but me and Kate actually trained together. So we trained at Coactive Coaching. When was that we trained, Kate? Like 2 years ago now?
2 years ago.
Oh. So it's crazy. Lovely to see your face, Chrissy. Hello. Hi. So yeah, it's for us, it's a really nice chance to come together and deliver something, you know, you always co-lead something, because it's, you know, funny as a coach, isn't it? Like, okay, when you used to doing stuff on your own, but we pick up from each other's energy as well. And I think it's really nice just to deliver a different topic and, you know, have different people in the room as well. So Kate, just to kick off, I guess, do you want to just introduce yourself, just because you don't know anyone here in the room?
Hi guys, I'm Kate. So I, as Natalie teed up, I am a certified Coactive coach. So I trained with Natalie, and I specialise in career and confidence coaching. So I predominantly help women work through mindset blocks in their careers and their lives to find a more fulfilled life. So I do work a lot with people who have imposter syndrome. It seems to be around a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those where actually I always say with imposter syndrome, like, you're lying if you haven't experienced it, actually, because it's always there, right? Like in the background, it's like the niggling little voice that, you know, gets louder if we feed into it. But absolutely everyone struggles. So it's the first part of like healing it and working on it is kind of like knowing that it's there. You know, that's a big part of it, knowing that it's there, and then we can kind of combat it, really. So yeah, lots to look forward to. So no, we're going to get straight in, Kate, aren't we, with, I guess, just drilling into how this cheeky imposter syndrome shows up currently in your lives, because then we can just make sure that the whole session is tailored to what you guys need, really, to be fair.
Sure. So just to give you guys a heads up, the session is going to be really interactive. So Sophie, I don't know if you're able to come and show video. It would be helpful if we could all see you, so that it just makes it feel a little bit more welcoming for everyone.
I'm happy to. My Wi-Fi is currently saying that it's unstable.
Oh no, that's not a good sign.
So I will show you my face, but I might have to turn it off so I can. So I can see you and hear you, because otherwise you sound like a robot.
Okay, sure. If you need to dip out, we know that's why. That's fine. It's just that we're all going to be sharing here, and so just to it's nice for us to all be able to see each other, but also just to let you guys know, this is obviously a completely safe space. So anything that we discuss tonight is for these 4 virtual walls. So please keep it that way, and please just respect everybody else's privacy. So if you do see them in the street, don't be calling them out. So I wanted to just kick off with you guys. I don't know how much you guys know about imposter syndrome. It might be loads or it might be nothing. The fact that you're all here indicates that there is a a desire to know more about it, and there's probably a bit of an inkling that there's some of it going on in your life at the moment. So if everybody just wants to go around, if you just want to introduce yourself and just let us know how imposter syndrome shows up in your life at the moment. And it might just be that you're like, I have no idea what it is, I'm just totally curious, in which case that's fine. And then if you could also let us know what it's costing you. So who would like to go first?
I'm happy to go first.
Oh, no,
So I'm Emma. I don't know anybody else apart from Natalie, but I'm an occupational therapist working in the NHS in Oxford, and I am an acquired brain injury clinical specialist, which sounds really posh, and I have imposter syndrome just about my job title, even though I've got 20 odd years experience. And interestingly, I'm doing this, I wanted to come tonight because I'm definitely aware of it, and I can definitely see myself not putting myself forward for things at work, that kind of thing. And I used to think that it was also the thing that held me back from kind of changing over to private practice maybe and developing in that way, but having got halfway through Natalie's course, I've now decided that's a load of rubbish. I just don't want to do that. That's not imposter syndrome. There's still a lot of it, but not that. So that's me.
I love that. So there's that. So where does the imposter syndrome show up for you? That was the question. Sorry, what's it costing you right now?
So I think it showed up most recently in we've got some development projects going on, and I have questioned. I've ended up organising them, and I question constantly whether I should be the person. Do I have the skills to?
So there's a bit of like, who am I even to be the person doing this?
Absolutely. Yeah. Say again, sorry.
And is there a bit of that I don't know enough going on here?
I don't know enough. I'm surrounded by a load of doctors, and I can rationalize and say, actually, well, doctors actually just very rarely know stuff, really, if I'm honest, not all of them. But you still have that emotional kind of connection to, oh, have I got the skills? And it's, I suppose it's not costing me anything obvious at the moment, because I'm doing those meetings. It's just that I have a battle with myself every time I have to do them. And it would just, I think it'd be really interesting to find some ways of quieting that little voice so that I don't have that battle with the things.
Yeah, sure. So it's like a slow bubble underneath the surface.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm curious to ask you how much you, or how comfortable you feel asking for help.
So of the right people, very comfortable. So I've got good friends and good family, and at work I've got an amazing manager. But I often don't actually work directly with any of those people. My work ends up being slightly separate with, as I say, all these doctors from lots of different services and hospitals that I don't know. So in that situation, no, I probably don't ask for help at that point.
And do you feel as though you need to do it all by yourself?
I'm much better at not doing that. I definitely would recognize that in myself from if I look back 5 years ago, it was horrendous. I was a mess, and then having kind of got to the point of going pop last year, I'm much better this year at not getting to that point. Absolutely. But it is a, again, I suppose it's that little niggle, that little bubble underneath that you should be able to do it all.
Yeah,
and
the should. Oh, shoulds.
Yeah, red flags all over town, those naughty shoulds. Excuse me, I'm just going to launch my husband's laptop out the door because it's, I don't know if you can hear it beeping.
Ba-boom, ba-boom. He's a very busy man, isn't he? Mr. Fishwick. How do you
Fishwick.
say your second name? Fishwick.
Fishwick. Yeah, no, he likes to talk like he is, but no, I'm gonna just look it outside. Sorry, I think I don't know what it is. Anyway, so thank you very much for sharing, Emma. Cool. Who would like to go next?
I can go next.
Oh, who was that? I couldn't see.
Anna.
Instead of your headset, it comes the sound. It's so clear though. I need
Brittany.
one of those.
You can hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah.
Sometimes it dies, so we'll see how long it lasts. So my name's Anna. Just know Natalie. We are friends for a long time now.
Yeah.
So I work for a clinical research organization called Syneos Health. I'm a team manager for a proposals team, and we specialize in CNS studies pretty much. I guess I've just recently moved over from another company to Syneos in March, and there's a lot to learn. And the budget system that we use, I do not like, but you got to get on with it. I think it's just, because I'm coming in new as a manager, it's quite hard to get the respect from my direct reports. And in my old company, I felt like I knew everything inside out and I was the expert. And I know what I'm doing. I know how to cost things. It's just the budget tool is different. So I think with that, I have maybe felt in the past few months, what am I doing as a manager? Should I just not go back to being a proposals writer? Yeah, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm hearing a lot of pressure that you're putting on yourself to have all the knowledge like straight away. You're expecting yourself to just know.
Yeah, but that's standard for me. I want to know everything yesterday. Yeah. So, and I have, I've picked up the job quickly, but not quick enough for my liking.
Yeah. So we talked about the 5 phases of imposter syndrome, and one of them's the expert, and that is expecting yourself to really just be able to pick something up straight away. And if you don't, then you see it as a sign of weakness.
Mm-hmm.
So I can hear a bit of that going on at the moment. And what's that costing you?
Well, I guess more of a feeling like maybe I don't know my job, but actually I do know my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So making you question your ability.
Yeah, a little bit. Cool. But I mean, I've only been in team management role for coming up to 2 years. I'm fairly new still. And when you manage people, you have to kind of change your personality to match theirs and all of this stuff. So I'm learning as I go along, but also having to learn Syneos and the budget system that we use kind of adds to that.
Yeah. And I'm curious, do you ever feel like you get to the point of knowledge where you just know it all?
I think in my industry, that doesn't ever happen. You keep learning, but that's fine with me. It's just my old company, I knew the budget tool inside out and how to cost things, and now I have to think about it more. Okay. And this is something I have to work on, that I can't give an answer straight away. I need to just say, I'm going to look into it and come back to you. So the pressure, I need to take that pressure off of me. Yeah. Where I want to give them an answer straight away.
Yeah.
And by giving them an answer straight away and faffing, that kind of, I feel probably hinders or kind of disrupts building that trust with my team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is that's a belief that you're holding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can come back to that one. Thank you for sharing, Anna. Who's next?
All right.
Sophie.
I'll go next. I can resonate with both of those, but particularly you, Emma, because I also work in the NHS. I have particularly noticed my imposter syndrome this year when I got a promotion at the beginning of the year. and I absolutely love my job, but I'm very much trying to establish myself, prove myself, and going above and beyond to try and prove to myself and other people that I should be here. There's the added pressure that it's a secondment, so have to then hopefully go on to get the permanent job. And there's lots of politics around that, as there always is in the NHS. The other big pressure is my age, or how old people think I am. I'm told I don't look 32. And the amount of time that people try and get out of me how old I am and how the hell I've got this job at my age. All the time people are trying to get out of me how they say, you've done so well for your age, haven't you? So well.
Make you feel.
So yeah, well, that just completely feeds into like my confidence of, should I be doing this job? And you know, I line manage people who they're all a lot older than me, but I've been in management since I was 27. So people have always been older than me that I've managed, and I just kind of crack on with it. But because it's such a jump in this role, I also have quite a fancy sounding title. Made me giggle when you said that, because even I'm like, I'm a senior modern matron, and then people are like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, oh, so if you got a staff nurse, yeah, then a charge nurse, yeah, then a ward manager, yeah, then a modern matron, yeah, then I'm their manager. And people are like, oh, good job. And it's a lot of responsibility as well. And I've moved from community to inpatient, so there's lots to learn. So, and I totally relate with what you're saying. Every day I'm learning so much, but I beat myself up for not knowing it like that. And in my line of work, a lot of the stuff is total curveballs. Like no textbook will teach you how to resolve that really obscure problem. But I am very critical of myself. I always want to do better, and I guess that's kind of like how I've got to where I am. But the big cost has been my health. So obviously it's a stressful job anyway. But whatever it is, I have some sort of chronic fatigue. It might be long COVID, it might be post-viral fatigue. But so the last few months have been really difficult. I'm literally having to nap before I do a meeting. I have massive brain fog. I can't concentrate. I can't exercise anymore. It's so many things, and I kind of know that that's because of my work, because I'm always up here stressed. But I've never known anything different. So
what I'm really curious to understand here is how, well, if you would, what am I trying to say? There sounds like there's a bit of perfectionism going on here, that things always have to be perfect, and that's where a lot of this like pressure load is coming from, is from these like ridiculously high standards that you set yourself.
Yeah,
that's fair. You rate yourself about. Yeah, that's another one of the sort of 5 faces that we talk about, one that I feel very familiar with too. And
also very common for people who have chronic fatigue.
Perfectionism, yeah. I always say perfectionism is a trap. Like I say this as a non-perfectionist actually, so it's very easy to say this because I'm not a perfectionist and never have been. But yeah, it's like, to what is the cost, right? Like it has to be that question constantly. What's the cost of getting this perfect? You know, is that efficient? Is, you know, an efficient use of my time? And it's a really interesting one of those faces, like you said, Kate.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll be able to come on to that. So thank you very much for sharing. Who's next? Go on, Chrissy.
Hello, everyone. So I'm slightly different, I feel like, to everyone. I'm having a bit of it, if I'm totally honest, I'm having a bit of imposter syndrome being in this meeting. So I'm thinking I'm different to everyone else.
I was just about to say, I'm curious as to why you think you're different.
So I only know Nat. I met her literally like 2 weeks ago.
At the wedding, Anna. Anna was there as well. At our best friend's wedding, Lucy's wedding, Anna. Yeah.
Oh, why
Yeah,
do I not remember?
She did all of our makeup. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I'm a makeup artist. That's my kind of dominant job. I've been a makeup artist for 7 years. During lockdown, I got another job working for Homestart Cymru as I don't really have a job title. It's I was literally a key worker, and not like an NHS key worker, but it's for helping families that are kind of, going through poverty or maybe domestic abuse and things like that. And I'm also a mum. I have a 5-year-old, so I am a perfectionist. I'm trying to think how I've come from quite an academic background. I went to a private girls' school, and there was a lot of pressure to be the thinnest, the prettiest, the cleverest. If you didn't get an A star, you may as well have got a U and failed and been crap. So I've always had that kind of mentality. And then when I was 19, I ended up having a nervous breakdown for about 6 years. And I started, my background is in psychology, and that's where I learned about imposter syndrome. And I'm really interested in mental health because of my own personal experience. But I had to quit uni because of my nervous breakdown. And then I kind of got into makeup as a emotional outlet, a creative outlet, and then realized I was actually quite good at it and set up a business. And then I kind of continued on down that road. But imposter syndrome, I feel like I feel like a bit like it in my business, because I've got lots of different opportunities available. And like when I've been asked to speak at a trade show in Manchester in September, to do like a live demonstration to loads of tradespeople, and I feel like it's too good of an opportunity to turn down. But in my head, I'm like, they've got the wrong person. It's not really me they want. But then I know it's them, because I actually went as far as ringing the editor and saying, are you sure it's me, to just double check. And it is me. But then I think in my head, like, I'm not good enough, I'm gonna fuck up somehow, and that I don't really know what I'm talking about, even though I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then like from my academic background, I've always had this big chip on my shoulder that I've never finished my degree, I've never become a graduate. I know that I'm very capable of doing that, and I guess it's, so I'm rambling, I guess it's becoming comfortable in the way that my life has gone, and that actually I am creative. I did have that academic potential. I think also there's a lot of judgment that maybe I'm a bit shallow and dim, and that I always feel like I have to keep proving that I have substance and I'm not just a ditzy makeup artist. So yeah, I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, I'm hearing that it's the common narrative that comes with imposter syndrome, which is I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And that's being you've got a really strong attachment to that with being a makeup artist, which it sounds like you're absolutely killing it. So
yeah, I mean, I think to myself, like, I'm the busiest I've been in 7 years, but I think that is because of COVID and because of, cramming 2 bridal seasons into one. But it's still feeling like, but I could be better. I could be a celebrity makeup artist. And then I think, well, why are we putting so much attachment onto the celebrity, and why can't I just feel satisfied? And it's probably that feeling of constantly wanting better, doing better. And even though I want to embrace the imperfections of life and my job and everything else, part of being a makeup artist, I guess, is feeling like everything's perfect and getting it perfect.
Yeah.
And it's all, yeah, it's quite hard. So then when I met Nat, I was like, Yes.
We had such an amazing conversation, didn't we? We're like, we met for a reason. Like, oh my God, we could have spoken. I was like, I've actually got to go be a bridesmaid though. So let's connect later.
Yeah. There's something else.
I'll be right back.
Like,
Yeah.
I can relate to this, but yeah, when I'm hearing everyone is in the NHS, I'm in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, they've got really important jobs, and I've just got a stupid job. I think, isn't that silly?
Yeah.
Not at all. So that's exactly like the perfectionism there is beating you over the head, and it might just be that there's like a few different elements of the imposter syndrome coming in, but the good news is you don't have to live with it. So,
You can say no.
so Sarah, would you like to finish up for us?
Yeah, sure. I've got a bit of a cold, everyone. So if I turn my camera off, it's because I need to blow my nose. And
Oh, bless you.
Please do.
we'll hear it. Yeah. So hi, I'm Sarah. And again, I don't work in the NHS either. I work for a confectionery company. So probably a lot of you people deal with people who eat my products. And my imposter syndrome isn't really anything to do with my job. I feel very comfortable and confident in my job. I'm a sensory and consumer scientist, so I organize chocolate research and people to taste chocolate and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm very comfortable in that. My issues for imposter syndrome come with like, well, what's next? Like what should I do next, or where should I go? I feel like I could do anything. If someone said to me, oh, Sarah, could you just do this for us? Or Sarah, could you just like put this together for us? I would just like be able to go and do it. But if I have to think about what to do, or if I have to like think about, oh, maybe I should go and do this, or maybe I should go and do that, then I start getting lots of like, well, are you really good enough to do that? Can you do that? Like, but if I'm just in the moment, I can, just, if it's just like in a flow, I can do it. So thinking about like, what job should I do next? Like either like at my company, because they're very keen on that. Like you don't have to just stay in your field. They're very keen on like your competencies, like moving around. And I'm like, but where should I go? Like, what should I do? Can I do that? I don't think I can do that, even though I probably got a lot of the transferable skills and competencies. But the other thing is, I think I also don't really want to work for somebody else for the rest of my life. I've got lots of interests, lots of things that I like to start and get excited by, and then don't always finish, and then I don't feel good enough because I haven't finished, and then I think, oh, I'm not good enough to do that. There's already about 500 million people doing that. I'm like, why should I like where's my place in that? So I think that's where a lot of my imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I'm hearing there's a really strong link between perfectionism and procrastination.
Yes, definitely. I think but I don't even think it's the perfectionism part. The procrastination, definitely, because I always think, well, is that really what I want to do? Like, should I put my effort into trying that or doing that or completing it? And the perfectionism part is like really weird, because in my actual day job, in my day-to-day job, I know that perfectionism doesn't exist. And, I have to do a lot of like risk, like risk management, risk analysis, what would be the risk if we made this decision? So I know perfectionism doesn't exist, but when it comes to doing something new, I think it's more to do with like, it's more, yeah, I don't know if it is about perfectionism or like the lack of control about what I need to do. Like, rather than just take one step, I think I'm looking at like a big mountain maybe and think, oh, I've got to, like, that's where I need to be. And really I'm just down here and I just need to take one step. It's a bit...
So what are you afraid of with losing control?
Losing control, I guess. And I don't know, I guess maybe the impact that it could have.
Mm.
Yeah, and whether that be good or bad, I think maybe the fact that it could be really good does scare me, and then that pressure,
Yeah.
and then also it could be, and then I just think, what if it was really bad? It's not the end of the world, like, I've still got my day job, or like that kind of thing. So I don't know, lots of imposter
Lots of imposter.
and lots of imposter thoughts, but a lot of it like centered around like just not feeling good enough to do something new, try, or being good enough at being probably as successful, I guess, as what I already am in my current job, maybe.
Yeah. And the fear of success is a really interesting one. It's like, if I get that, well, then I might lose it. So I'm
yeah. And I think that is something that is a bit like with the control. Like, I'm in a very secure position, with my job and like just with my life in general. And so I do like that control, like the security, and anything that might jeopardize that security is my fear of lack of control.
Yeah, that makes, I hear that. Thank you very much for sharing.
Which I don't know if it's imposter syndrome or just like,
it's all linked, right? Like it's all
linked, I think.
What I was going to come on to say is we've got all these different faces to imposter syndrome, but essentially what imposter syndrome really is just it's like a front man for self-sabotage and for limiting beliefs and fear. So everything you've just articulated there on fear of success, people talk about imposter syndrome, it's like, it's like a glamorous front man that people can associate with and people understand, and it's a really nice way, or a simple way, to package up all those things so that we understand what self-sabotage is. So everything you're experiencing behind what you're calling imposter syndrome, they're all like valid mind blocks that you're going through right now, and they can all be released, which is also good news for you. Cool. So that took a lot longer than I thought, which was really good. So everyone's super juicy. I'm gonna do a quick demonstration coaching, so I'll try and keep it quite quick. Does anybody want to volunteer to be coached? Yeah, go for it, Christy.
Like, woo!
I'm all in for volunteering.
Beautiful. Okay, so
sorry, my washing machine is like,
I can't hear it, so it's fine.
I can hear it.
Is it annoying? Cool. So Chrissy, is there anything you would like to let me know before I start to coach you?
I don't think so. I'm not that. In what respect do you mean? I'm just my daughter wants watermelon.
That's fine. Is there anything today that you want to let me know you're feeling particularly sensitive, or is there anything that you just want to make me aware of before we start?
I don't think so. No, quite open.
Okay, cool. So let's go back to this feeling of perfectionism that's kind of holding back. Talk me through it again.
So I think it started from, I could go quite deep into it, I think, if I analyse too much. So I had a really abusive biological father. So for my whole childhood, I watched a lot of domestic violence. And I think I grew up with this need to prove myself, I think, and prove that I was going to be this really strong woman. And then I think being in a private girls' school kind of gave me that platform to be the best of the best. And then nothing, even if I got an A star, I still felt like I could have got a better mark or done something different.
Amazing. So I want you to just stand up for a minute, if that's okay.
I'm in my pajama shorts. You
see the state of my backdrop. I was saying to Natalie in the middle of moving our office, so nobody's judging you. They're too busy looking at me. Right. So do you want to, I want you to just show me with your body right now what that feeling feels like?
The feeling of perfectionism.
Yeah.
I would say really like this,
So it's quite tight.
really tight, and it overwhelms me every single day. I
Okay.
feel like really stressed
What else do you
at
feel?
that. I'm probably here.
Yeah.
Yeah, get like a sticky pit of my stomach type of feeling.
Yeah. Bit sicky in your stomach. Shoulders are up tight.
Yeah. Oh, my shoulders are
Constantly. What else? If it was around you, what would perfectionism be?
This is the thing, I don't know, because I aspire to be the best, but I don't quite know what that even looks like. It's just, I think it's just suffocating.
Suffocating.
Yeah, quite inwards, everything's like that, and it's like you just want to escape.
Yeah, you just want to escape.
Yeah, I think that's why part of my tattoos and stuff are me creatively escaping. I'm very like this with my hands, I realize. I think it's my creative escapism, I would say.
So let's go there. So shake it off. I want you to shake
Okay.
off. Step out of where you were, step into a new place.
Yeah.
So let's go to creative escapism. Show me creative escapism.
Creative escapism is very flowy and like this, and I'm very like I'm quite free spirited, I think, and quite like I like to get in the zone and be like that. Yeah.
Show me some more.
I might look like a bit of an absolute idiot.
Say that again.
Do I look like an idiot?
No, you don't. You're fine.
With
I
me.
feel my zone is like it's here, it's all on my arms.
Yeah.
I don't like having to wear the mask because I feel like people can't see my like smile and my eyes and like who I am. And I know Nat's probably never even seen my face properly. And
But I see that in you. You've just come alive. Your face is alive. You're alive.
I am alive, and I feel like I have this purpose. Like I'm very dramatic, and like I feel like I always touch my heart and say like I'm my soul, and it's always about. I'm very. People take the mick out of me a bit, for it. But sorry, I'm just wiggling that round, just making it thinking about it.
So is that? But that sounds like to me like that's your power.
Yeah, I feel like my story happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then I get that, but then I feel a bit vulnerable about it, and I can't quite own it properly.
And vulnerability. What's the gift from the vulnerability?
What's the what? Sorry.
The gift from the vulnerability.
The gift from the vulnerability. I can empathize a lot.
Yeah.
I think I can understand. Like I had a bride the other day who had a massive panic attack, and because I suffer with panic attacks and anxiety, and she was in a state, I actually got on my knees, held her hand, looked like eyeballed her and burst into tears, and I said, I know exactly how you feel because I have this all the time. And it felt like a very emotional job, and I think everything is in people's eyes. I'm a very eye person, and doesn't even like, excuse my French, but I think fuck the makeup. It's not even about the makeup. It's about like it's who you are that's coming out of your eyes. And I just really related to this person.
Wow. So
So,
wow. From this place, from here, from
Yeah.
everything you've just said, that's just given me insane goosebumps. What do you think now about being a makeup artist? What's the impact that being a makeup artist has?
I think for some people it has a massive impact because I'm in their like intimate personal space, and they share things with me, and therefore I share things, and it becomes really comfortable, like almost a bit like a healing process. For other people, I feel a bit like I'm treated in a kind of, I don't want to say like a slave, but I'm kind of dismissed quite quickly, as if like there you are, you've provided a service, you're a ditzy makeup artist to like shoo away. But then I don't want to be that person. I want to be the one that stands on the stage and like shares my story, and I'm creative and I'm expressive and people just accept me. But I think the hardest part is I don't accept myself, and that's the problem.
So can I make a request? Because as you know, this is a very, very quick coaching session, but a request that I just want to leave you with is, can you just connect with that power, that creative energy and that power next time you feel that feeling of being treated like a slave or that you're not valued? And just, I want you, no matter what anybody else thinks, I want you to connect with that power that you have within you, that you know's there. Will you do that?
I'll try.
Amazing. Thank you.
Well done, Chrissy.
Well done, Chrissy. Thank you. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chrissy. That was amazing. And it's goosebumps all around for me. So thank you for sharing. So everybody else, we're going to do a similar exercise, but we're going to do some journaling. So if everyone grabs a pen and paper. And what I want you to do is, I just want you, before you start writing, to close your eyes, and I want you to think back. We talked about imposter syndrome being the front man, the glamorous front man, you might say, or woman, who is the front of self-sabotage, the front of limiting beliefs, the front of self-doubt. And I want you to imagine that in front of you, you have that front man, that front woman, front gremlin, front shape, whatever you want it to be. It's in front of you. It is imposter syndrome stood in front of you. And imposter syndrome is now saying to you what narrative runs in your head. So what is it that imposter syndrome is saying to you? So you might want to think back to what we talked about when we shared about how it shows up in your life and what it's costing you. But if they were shouting a sentence or two at you, what would they be saying? And now I just want you to just spend a couple of minutes just writing down what's so important about that. What's important to you about it? What's behind that comment?
Can you say that bit again? Sorry.
Yeah, so take the sentence and then what's behind that. So what really matters to you about that sentence? How are we getting on? Yeah. So just ask a couple of people just to share what they've got so far.
I put, you're a joke, you're a failure.
You're a joke, you're a failure. And what's so important behind that?
I put, different choices could have led you to a different individual experience with education. You could have more friends, more credentials, and have I really reached my full potential?
right? So it's about that wanting more for yourself, thinking you should be better. Should be better, yeah. Somebody else want to share?
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah, go ahead, Sarah. You go first.
I just put, you're not good enough to do that. You don't deserve more success. And I think behind that is, I feel like I don't deserve a bigger and better life, that I should be content with what I have already.
I should be happy with what I've got.
Yeah, and I'm not happy. I just, feel like I could do more.
That's definitely the fear of success again. Just be grateful for what you've got. Yeah. You don't need more.
Yeah.
Who'd like to go next?
Can go next.
No.
I've got pretty simple statements. What are you doing as a line manager for this massive company? And it goes back to, do I know what I'm doing?
Yeah. So I don't know enough. Thank you for sharing. Emma?
Mine is actually everyone else knows more than you, and you'll get caught out.
You'll get caught out.
Really big one, isn't it? Yeah.
That's the one. And it's an absolute, it's not about a fear of being wrong or of being of not knowing actually, but it's a fear of being caught out. So I'm happy to throw myself off the cliff, as it were, and say I don't know, as long as it's on my terms and I control it. But that whole kind of being laughed at, feeling as if you've made an embarrassment of yourself and of people then sitting there and questioning.
That sounds a bit like a fear of rejection coming in.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relatable.
Go on, Sophie.
I've got similar, you're not good enough, you don't know what you're doing, you blagged your way here, you don't do enough and you're overpaid. I have this real big thing that I earn too much money and I feel really embarrassed about it. And I feel like I'm being greedy by getting paid what I do, and I don't do enough work to get paid what I do. And then the rest of it is just around not sort of feeling like I'm good enough or worthy of it, I guess. Don't know, I struggled with the second half.
It's like that's again the fear of success. Money mindset often comes from like the fear of like I can't have this. The belief, there's potentially a belief in there that's like, I'm not allowed this, it's not safe for me to have this.
Yeah, I'd question you, Sophie, on when did you start to feel like that? Because we learn our beliefs, back, as you know, Emma, and everyone, like in childhood essence, you learn those beliefs back in our childhood, and sometimes it's an old program that we're still running, it's software that we haven't updated, and actually it's just making those decisions for us. So I wonder, just a question, not for now, but like, when did you start to have that thought? Because there might have just been something you learned back then that might have influenced that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm gonna, if I can, if it's all right. So I was just gonna say, I think there's also something about money and working for the NHS. There is a narrative that you do it because it's a good thing to do. And so then if you do an all right salary, and I consider that I do as well, actually, yes, it's kind of, you want to kind of keep your head down.
Yeah, I feel guilty.
Not right. And I think that's a cultural thing as well within the NHS.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
It's so funny that you bring up the cultural thing, because it's interesting. It's something that I'm only just beginning to start explore since I've started working with organizations, but where cultures for like birth elements of imposter syndrome. So perfectionist cultures birth perfectionism. So it is a really interesting point that you've just raised there. And I guess the challenge there back is, what do you need to create safety around having money, or what do you need to create safety about being well paid in that environment? So maybe there's a journal prompt that you can take away and explore on your own. So that's everybody's been now on this part, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next part of it is then I just want everybody to close your eyes. You might want to just shake off the vibes. Take a deep breath and roll your shoulders back. I want you might want to just really make sure your feet are just well connected on the floor. Feel a bit of a power stance, maybe sit up a bit if you're sat down. And I just want you to connect with a time in your life when you felt completely in power. You felt completely alive. You were absolutely unstoppable. Now I just want you to feel those feelings, the feeling of energy in your stomach, fingers. You might have tingling down through your arms and legs. Feel your feet connect to the floor and just really feel that power. And I want you to just think about who you were being in that moment, at that time. Think about where you were, what was around you. And I just want you to write down where you were, and then I want you to write, I am being. And you will write 3 things. I am 1, 2, and 3.
I love this visualization. It's so powerful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So powerful.
So is everyone ready to share? Do you need a couple more minutes? Cool. Who wants to go first? You can just share the I am if you want. Emma, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go.
We were in tune then.
Yeah.
I could see it was coming.
So actually, I was thinking the powerful moment was running one of these awful meetings that I thought I probably shouldn't be, and I did a bit of work before I did it. And so I am in control. I am commanding, which I feel is different to in control. And I am happy with my knowledge limits.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was good.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Who's next?
I can go next.
Run.
I am decisive, adventurous, and connected.
I love this. Beautiful. Adventurous. Fun. I want to know where you are now. Thank you for sharing. Who's next?
Okay. Mine's I am confident, I am strong, and I am undeniably me.
Amazing. Thank you. Undeniably me. Love it. Cool. Who's next?
I found this more tricky actually.
Okay.
I've only managed to visualize one moment in my life where I felt in control, powerful. And I am being helpful. I am being I'm being giving. That's not really a sentence. I'm giving, and I'm being raw and real.
Love it. Love that raw and real, that authenticity coming through, and I see that in you. Thank you for sharing, Anna.
Just me left. So mine would have been, so I facilitate a lot of calls and I have to pull together strong human beings with a lot of knowledge, like doctors, like you mentioned, Emma. Anyway, so, and I'm just imagining one of those calls that I would have run when I was a proposals manager. And I am strong, I'm capable and decisive.
Decisive, I love that.
Yeah, I love it. So now what I want you to do is I want you to go away and find a picture that symbolizes you in that moment. And I want you to write out those 3 I am statements, and I want you to put the 2 together. So you can do something snazzy and save it as a picture on your phone, or you can just go old school and get some Pritt stick and do picture and words. And I want you to put it somewhere that you're going to be able to see it every day. And then every time you go into a scenario where you feel, and I want you to practice saying those words out loud and really connecting with that picture. And every time you go into a scenario where you can feel that self-doubt creeping out, or the perfectionisms holding you back, or whatever the situation may be where imposter syndrome's creeping in, I just want you to connect back with that picture, connect back with those feelings that you felt when you were in your full power, and say those 3 I am statements out loud, just to really reconfirm your power and strength. Okay.
Love that. I love that. And for those of you that have done stuff on Leader Within as well, like for some of you won't know what this is about, but most of you will. Yeah, this can again absolutely link to that Leader Within energy, because that Leader Within energy is like, when I'm in my full power, right? Like when I give myself full permission, and there's something really special about that place. So
yeah. And it may just be that you've created another ally from this place that you are, is another one to have in the bank for another day.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kate. Honestly, that's so, I think for me, most of you know me in some way or kind of have worked with me. And I think it's really nice to give a different perspective, because we're all so different, and we're all, I don't know, I just think there's so much beauty in just the fact that we can just pull from different types of people and learn kind of different ways to kind of like access some of this stuff, really. So yeah, really, I think for me it's got me thinking too, Kate, because I love the fact that I get to do some of this when I'm not always leading, which is nice, because we do this work, don't we, like ourselves, but it's important to,
and I think with imposter syndrome, the beauty really is within the sharing and just gaining awareness.
You're not alone. We're all feeling it. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you mind if I take a quick photograph, guys? I know we've got a little bit more to go, but just to put on social media, is that okay? To say how nice everyone happy.
I'm going for it.
Right.
Awesome.
I always forget, so I was like, I better get in there before I forget.
Yeah, I know. Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just finish off with a kind of 5-10 minute, like, bit of a meditation visualization, just to kind of bring it all together, really, to process some of the learning from this evening and kind of leave you with just, a bit of kind of a moment to just kind of, embed some of this stuff, because it's been a lot to take on. But yeah, hopefully some of that has got you thinking about the practical ways you can kind of like combat some of these situations as well. So as I always say with things like this, feel free to pop your cameras off or get comfortable or lie down or whatever you want to do, just so you can kind of really enjoy, just think of it as your shavasana. I can't say that word, you know what I mean? At the end of yoga, everyone's like, oh, I can't wait just for the bit where you get to relax. This is it, whereby you can just really just be, rather than do, and think, you're really just being in the moment. So everyone get comfy, and we'll get going. Okay. So as I've said, if you can just find yourself a comfortable position. You might be seated, you might be lying down. And just want you to kind of initially take a few deep breaths for me. We're going to take our time to just find our space here. We're going to keep those shoulders relaxed. Start to drift those eyes slightly closed. And just follow those breaths through. So when we're breathing, I want you to breathe in through your nose and exhale out from your mouth. And if you want to put yourself on mute and physically exhale, then please do. So in through your nose, out through your mouth. And just take a moment to appreciate and acknowledge being present here this evening. Thank yourself for being here, for giving you this time to really start to reflect on some of this, to improve. And just, it's important for us in this moment to not forget to love ourselves, our confidence, and enjoy this moment just as a complete moment of freedom. Your mind feels lighter from some of the things we've worked through. We're free from all those negative thoughts. We're ready to feel nourished with some more positive vibes. And I want you to keep in mind in this moment that love is not something you have to look for. This is something that's inside of us, hidden from a surface made up of worries, schedules. You just have to release some love, give it a chance to shine, to lead you. It's always been there and it's always available. So this is the day and the time to let our walls down. Feel free to show up with no defenses, be vulnerable, be widely open, and have an open heart. Again, we're going to go back to that breathing. So take a long, deep breath in and a long, deep breath out. Listen to the sound of your breathing as it becomes heavier and heavier at every breath we take. And maybe use this moment to focus on your emotions. Do you feel differently now to when you arrived at this session today? Focus on your breath to create a regular, soothe and intimate environment. We're going to cultivate a new, improved, mindful and open mindset that's going to support us in who we're becoming. We're going to release our sense of discomfort, loneliness, insecurity, and experience the present moment, because it's time to heal our old emotional wounds and feel grateful for ourselves once again. Now I'm just going to ask you to focus on one particular thought. I want you to think about one thing that you love about yourself. Again, inhale and smile quietly to yourself. Practice kindness. Be your own friend. And exhale out with that big sigh again. Now take a deep breath and visualize a door. Exhaling, try to open that door with all your energy, your power, your new confidence that you've found from this evening, and love. And I want you to visualize the light waiting for you on the other side. This is the warm wave of love that you deserve for what you really are. Your inner magic you often try to hide, it's now ready to spread all over your life. We're going to connect to that magical light and enjoy every single ray you see. We're going to feel it all over your face, your heart, your spirit. What's possible from that place? Really feel into who you are and who you're becoming. Take another deep breath with a big sigh and rub your hands together. Maybe generate a little bit of heat between them. And take these last precious moments to acknowledge your commitment to your practice, to your own personal development journey, and bring that light, and maybe make an intention to bring that light into every single day of your life, and bring that magic with you in every daily decision, every daily interaction. Now, before we come back to the room, maybe just say that affirmation, that I am statement to yourself a few times here. Reconnect with that feeling, reconnect with that purpose, reconnect with what you want to bring through into your life tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. And then when you're ready, come back into the room. Welcome back. I didn't lose any people to sleeping, because sometimes that does happen. It's quite late. Amazing. Anna, she might be sleeping. Oh, no, you're not. It's all good. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us tonight. I guess I just wanted to just give you guys a bit of space just to ask us any questions, or, yeah, kind of any final closing thoughts about what we've talked through today. I'm going to actually send you a bit of a reading list, because this is such a fascinating area that there's actually quite a lot of really awesome books on, actually. So I'm going to send that in an email to follow up with you, just if you want to kind of dive in a little bit deeper. But yeah, just thank you for showing up, being here, sharing so openly as well. But yeah, anything that you guys want to ask or check with us, we're going to be around for the next kind of 5-10 minutes, but if you need to run, then please do as well.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think men get imposter syndrome, and do you think men are ever concerned about not being old enough, or feeling like they were too young to have this, or do you think that they embody it, like, yes, I'm only 27 and look at all the experience that I have gained, and look at the trust that people have in me to do this role?
It's such a good question. We probably both have responses to this. It's such an interesting one. I think absolutely they do, but I think there's something to come back to the culture, the society, of like the belief system that we're in, as women as well. And I think the statistics are that 70% of women versus kind of 20-30% of men let it kind of take over and own them. Those thoughts still exist. We have 70,000 thoughts a day and 95% are negative. So men experience those negative thoughts. It's whether they take them on as their own, as we do. And a lot of that is cultural, because we're taking that on from generations before us, because women have had a harder fight in lots of ways, I guess. Really, Kate, I know you were going to say something.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's Natalie said earlier, like, your belief system comes a lot from your childhood, and I think there's a big part of that. I think we are, men do get it. Yeah, they do.
Do they get it in the same areas? Because we all spoke about it being in our careers, and I'm sure some of us are mums. No one said that they didn't feel that they were an imposter at being a mum, or didn't feel like they weren't good enough in that area.
Yeah, it is really common around mums as well. Men, I don't think men get it around parenting. The men that I've experienced who have it, it's been, it's around the knowledge gap. Trying to think of the areas. I'm not really an expert on men. I predominantly coach women, but I know the men that have coached who've had similar things. It's been, it's mostly shown up as a similar thing.
Yeah, and I think it's just sometimes there's there's like a collective thing here going on around like women buying into this conversation, right? Like if a thought comes up about imposter syndrome, like I always say, like, why are you having a cup of tea and inviting it in, right? Like, why are we like entertaining it and like, come in for tea and cake, you know? And it's like, I think with men, there's a real kind of like they shut it down and kind of, you know, will stop that conversation a lot sooner. It doesn't mean that doesn't exist as a narrative, but actually the collective belief system around women having to work harder plays into the fact that we entertain that conversation, if that makes sense. And the more we entertain the conversation, the more it grows and the louder the voice gets.
And I think as well, there's something around like a lot of like buzzword at the moment is like growth mindset and stuff like that, and it's all intertwined, it's all very similar. Do men resonate more with like, I don't know, that as a terminology? Yeah, different language, yeah, exactly that. And does it, I don't know,
it maybe shows up in different ways, you know? I guess Sarah, you're thinking of certain people. I don't know, maybe it's worth just don't know, asking the question or just, you know, reflecting a bit more, because I'm sure it does. It maybe just shows up differently, or maybe there's a different, like the different conversation, different language, different words that are used, maybe.
Yeah, I wondered if there's something around the perfectionism. If women, do you think they have to be perfect in everything?
It's
and
so funny you said that.
less so.
It is funny you said that, because when I was going through the men that I've coached, the perfectionism, that was the only one that came to mind that I wouldn't say I'd made a direct link with. But I don't think there's enough that's been done on it. I mean, technically, like imposter syndrome as a whole, it isn't actually like a registered thing. It doesn't really like exist. That's why
earlier, it's like a combination of so many different things, isn't it? It's like a face, but actually there's so much behind it: self-sabotage, negative thinking. Like there's a lot that's going on behind, you know, behind that. So it's kind of digging into a few of those other facets, really.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, good question.
I think it's really interesting that how you said about when you have a thought, like actually inviting it for tea. Like I've never thought of anything like that, and how many thoughts I actually basically give a 3-course meal to.
Yeah, you're like, come in, I've got, you know, it's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. It's a lot of that technique from very OCD in my childhood, but it's that it's that, you know, it's that kind of I guess feeling of the fact that if you give something attention, it will grow. So actually, if we're really shutting that down and real questioning, is that true? Is that thought true? You know, what evidence is that does that thought have that that's true? And questioning and observing that, rather than like taking it on as your own, right? Because actually sometimes that's not yours.
I think one thing I would say that I struggle with is that in my head I have like 3 different Chrissies, and I have the Chrissy pre-breakdown who went to the private school and was perfect. Then I have the ill me that couldn't function, had agoraphobia, you know, ended up in a psychiatric unit. And then I have the post-breakdown me who has been diagnosed with epilepsy and has these things and has all this experience. But I feel like I'm dealing with 3 people, and not in my head. I know I'm the same person, but I wish I could not compartmentalize them into 3 different people, but actually, like, I wish I could be my own friend. And like you said, when love is available and it's always there, I very much don't love myself. And then when you were saying about your hands, I was thinking maybe I do my job because I feel like I want to heal people and I want to be next to their face. So then I want to be able to love all 3 of me and realize that that's just, I'm still the same. I'm all one person.
It's all part of why you're here, to kind of do the work that you do. And I think focusing on who you're becoming brings those 3 elements of you together. Like, who am I becoming? You know, that would be a really nice way to bring that from the past into your present, because they all have my hardest moments, you know, why I'm here now today. And it's embracing and loving that darkness, because that becomes your light, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah, it's linking it all and not kind of, I don't know, making it like these 3 separate chunks.
Yeah.
I guess maybe about what each period taught you.
Yeah.
And becoming the to be the person you are today?
Well, like interestingly, when we were talking about when we felt empowered, I really struggled to think of something, and the only thing I could think of was pre-breakdown. I went to Africa for a month, and I worked in the Kibera slums, and it was a time when I was being, I wore like a little headscarf. I was, I was in a very real environment. I was completely makeup free. I was just me helping. I helped build 2 classroom blocks. I met people who had absolutely nothing, and they were so happy and lovely. And even the way they said my name, like they felt, and again, and I touched this pattern, like they felt so full of richness. And I came back here, and then everyone was just talking rubbish, and I found that transition really, that's the only time I've really felt I've ever done anything. And as a mum, I feel really good as a mum, like I've done everything I can. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird when you sit and think about it.
Yeah.
But then that was pre breakdown.
When you do your job, like you're, doing the makeup and the hair, or makeup for a bride and her bridal party, and you're like creating, like helping them create their special day, that would, to me, would be really empowering. Like I am bringing my skill to make your day the way that you've envisaged it. And I sometimes think that everyone thinks we have to have these like monumental moments, like the one that you spoke about, like that's monumental, like that's amazing, really like giving yourself. But being empowered doesn't have to be such a big thing. It could be, I helped someone across the street that was really struggling, and
the daily actions, isn't
daily
it?
action,
Daily things. What can I do every day to make a difference to someone else, or
the pressure you put on yourself is immense. Like, like you don't see the beauty in just like your, like the day-to-day giving that you.
Yeah, like because I work so closely to people's faces, I feel like I get, like when I met Nat, I felt like we had this energy, and I do believe in energy, but I think because
you need to do your Reiki healing, Chrissy, for sure. You need to do your Reiki level 1, like 100%. I'll send you someone's details, because I feel like I saw that since I met you. You need to just do some Reiki healing, energy healing, because I think there's something there for you to explore, for sure.
I do, and I get this like thing that I really sense things, and like one of the reasons I love it, and it's really sad, is because I feel like I can give love to other people, and like I give loads of love to my daughter, and like I tell her how wonderful she is, but I wish I could look in the mirror and say, like, Chrissy, you're really lovely, or you're really nice. But I like look in the mirror and think,
you should do that.
Yeah, but I try, but the first thing when I wake up is I say, you're so fat and ugly and disgusting.
What?
But you can do it. You can, Chrissy, you will be able to change that.
I have a very negative, like, inner, I think the way I talk to myself, I would never talk to anyone else like it.
No, that's the thing. You need to write on your mirror. You need to write it, like, actually on your mirror.
For sure. We're all championing that, aren't we?
I follow this woman called Steph Godrow on Instagram. She's an American kind of in intuition movement practitioner, and actually it's one of the things that she said, which I found really useful, is you don't need to start at love is a big thing. Actually, if you absolutely hate what you look like and you're saying those comments, start with neutral. I have a body, my body works.
Yeah, I'm okay, like how I am. Like that's a really good point, Emma. Absolutely. Yeah, small steps.
Yeah, like self-acceptance before self-love, maybe might be easier to.
And I've got pretty eyes, and then that might turn into, actually, do you know what, I really quite like my eyes. I get to communicate a lot with my eyes. Actually, yeah, my eyes are pretty rocking, thank you very much.
Yeah, I love that.
Every morning when I've like either when I'm getting dressed, either like after the shower, if I'm putting my gym kit on, I stand in front of my mirror and I shake about naked, and I look at look at everything wobble. You know, I've got like a, you know, got a mum body. It's never been perfect, but I say the same. I'm like, look how amazing this body is. Look what it can do. You know, my feet walk, like I can walk with my feet. I can like move my hands and give everything a little jiggle and let it have a wobble about.
I love that.
So empowering, like, because I was a size 18 last August, and I've lost 4.5 stone since lockdown.
You should definitely be wiggling.
You should be very proud.
Well, I am proud. I'm in the best shape of my life probably, but my, you know, my boobs and everything have gone south, and I'm older. I'm 31 next week, so I'm older than I think I look. But like my little girl, when she says to me like, "Mummy, your boobies look like they're gonna fall off your body like Mr. Jelly," then I think that, and then she goes, "But I still love you." And then I think, oh God, like why can't I think like she does towards myself? And yeah, I wish I could see. I don't know. I think and like you said, it passes through generations. I watch my mum, who I think
You've learned a lot of that behavior.
Yeah, like my mum, she even stands in the mirror and goes to herself, "Oh, you're so ugly and wrinkly." But I look at her and I think you're so beautiful, but so, I don't know, I don't want to say like troubled, that's the wrong word, but like bruised, I think, from like people putting her down. Like my dad had a massive impact on probably both of our lives, and yeah, like he didn't want me to be born, and he, you know, used to be very violent with her and say like about me, like, "Is it dead yet?" And that was me inside her. So I think I was born into the world probably subconsciously feeling like I wasn't meant to be here, but then my mum kept me for a reason, because I was meant to be here, but that actually knowing my dad didn't even really want me to be here. So, and I think that's played a massive part in
Yeah. You've got such an opportunity though, Chrissy, because the fact that you're recognizing all of this means you do not have to pass that on to your daughter.
Well, I don't know, that's what I like.
Break it. You break it now.
Pattern is so powerful. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's baby steps as well. It's small steps every day, just changing that narrative every day. It's habits. It's you're not just going to wake up one morning, look in the mirror and go, "God, I'm mint, look at me, I'm amazing." But like, as everybody has said, just lots of little changes every day, and just stick at it, and it'll come.
Catching yourself initially, like, oh, that's that thought again, unlogging it. That would be a really good step. We call it like a thought inventory, like just noting it down when you see, I see you, I see that thought. Just noticing it. That would be a really good first step.
Yeah, no, I mean, I did have the tattoo strength before puberty, because I was sick of people saying, "Oh, you're so pretty, you're so this," and I thought like the strength that I have internally to overcome everything I've come through far outweighs what my face looks like. But then obviously working in the makeup industry, which is all about image, it's so contradictory, and people often say like, "I don't understand why you're a makeup artist," but I'm a different type of makeup artist.
Yeah.
And I was really badly bullied in school, and I think it was because now I can look back and think, because I was pretty and I was clever and I was kind, I wasn't allowed to be all three. So I was like a target, and that just destroyed me. And I've never really recovered from that, and always feel like an outsider. I don't have a big group of friends. And also, I'm never the bridesmaid. I'm always the makeup artist at the wedding, because I've never been a bridesmaid because I don't have friends. I'm like a complete loner. Isn't that awful?
I've never been a bridesmaid.
Haven't you?
No.
I think it's because I'm around it so often and I see the dynamics, and I'm like, I don't have that in my life.
Maybe your I am statements need to be those three things, and maybe you need to put them on your mirror. So what were they? I am pretty, I am clever, and I am
raw. And what was the one? Raw and
kind. The ones from three things, because that's who you are, and you're allowed to be those things. Maybe you just need to give yourself permission to be those things.
Yeah, it's like a seed, you're letting it grow. You're planting a new seed and you're letting it grow. It isn't going to absolutely just bloom and blossom and be a massive full-grown tree tomorrow, right? Like, this is about small steps, but planting those right seeds that are going to help you flourish.
Yeah, no, it's so lovely. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's been
I'm
amazing.
going to have to go, I'm afraid. This is
No
such a great
worries, we'll
conversation.
let you all go, but thank you. I'll
Got to
follow
do my
up
click and
now
collect.
with a few bits. I know it's late. It's got very dark since we've been on this call. But no,
Yeah.
thank you so much, everybody. And yeah, thank you just for being so open and sharing so much, because it's made the session, honestly.
Thank you, ladies. It's been such a pleasure to meet you all.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Bye. See you later now.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Well done, love.
Thanks. How was it?
Good, I think. Really good. I think it's just so nice to give them a different perspective. They hear my voice so much.
The only thing I was kicking myself is I didn't actually say to any of them, I haven't given them any like information about working with me or anything like that. Is that okay if I forward something on to you just to say?
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is, because obviously most of them are booked onto the journey within September, it's probably worth me introducing you, but almost like, I think they'll probably, this is where I think I see me and you fitting in, like doing the group programs and then saying, if you want to do some one-to-one stuff, I never do one-to-one, do I?
Yeah. But that's why I think I kind of was going to say it, but then I was a bit like, oh, I don't want to say something wrong.
Yeah. Why don't you forward it, and then at least then they've got it, because then I can say, I know you guys are on the journey within, but if you want to do a deep dive one-to-one, anything like that, Kate's your girl kind of thing, because you can be my go-to one-to-one coach. Like, that's how I see you.
Yeah, maybe just say, I'll just send you the like my thing for my website and my Instagram.
Sorry,